In some towns, there are those parks which are just waiting to be discovered, like Schillerparc in Villach. Located in Peraustrasse, it is dotted with numerous trees which provide shade when you want to escape from the heat, or read a book, or even think about writing one yourself. There are no records of who has sat here so far in this park, maybe near Friedrich Schiller's bust, on one of the benches near the pond. In the middle there's a fountain, near Schiller, in Schillerparc, near his bust which also gave the park its name. This is where you have to sit down, maybe to philosophize with Schiller about the concept of beauty, and to think, and to wonder why there's a bust of Schiller here, in Villach of all places, apart from the fact that it improves the look of the place. Why isn't there a bust of the philosopher Paul Watzlawick, for example, who was born in Villach, prompting us to stop and think? In his honour, you could sit on one of the park benches, under Schiller's gaze, clapping your hands to frighten away the elephants. It's bound to work, you only have to try it out. Or why isn't there a bust of Werner Kofler, an Austrian author who has been very much underappreciated, who was also born in Villach in fact, and who moved away at some point and didn't return, not even after his death in 2011. Werner Kofler was born on the 23rd of July 1947 in Villach. He published his first literary texts at the age of 16, but it wasn't until 1975, when he was nearly 30, that he celebrated his first successful publication with a volume of prose entitled Gugele, vom Bravsein und vom Schweinigeln, on being good as gold and telling dirty stories, a collection of texts from the province, in which he looked back on his childhood in Villach. Now living in Vienna as a freelance writer, he wrote plays for the radio and theatre, film scripts, and prose in all its permutations, and published over 20 books in his lifetime. He often made use of collage and montage techniques as a means of criticizing both language and society. I learned how to speak. I learned how to speak nicely. Proper German, not dialect. I spoke so nicely, could speak so nicely, that the other women, the other mothers, asked my mother how she'd managed that. I learned how to be obedient. Children have to be obedient. I was obedient, but if truth be told, I absolutely hated being obedient. Kofler's texts testify to his very critical stance. He called literature a fight against crime, dubbing his own works feats of insanity and acts of revenge. A fundamental point of criticism in his works was the suppression of its Nazi past by Austrian society. Werner Kofler received many awards for his work, including the Austrian Prize for Literature, the Theodor Körner Prize, and in 1992 the Cultural Award of the town of Villach. Finally, he was presented with the Austrian Cross of Honour for Science and Art in 2008. After a prolonged illness, Werner Kofler died in 2011 in Vienna, where he was also buried.